Time to hug and kiss.
Friday's here. Gavin Gush live with Farmhouse Fabrics.
And this is the weekend coming up.
We are excited to be talking about our sewing kits, our fabric bundles. We have a new pleated insert, a gorgeous royal twill. What else do we have up here? A needle felting kit, and we're all over the board today. We have an awesome new newsletter suggestion for y'all. Who is that, Sally?
This is Mary Corbett from Needle and Thread. Needle and then the letter N, Thread. Now, Mary Corbett I've known for a long, long time, but I had to look something up today, and it took me to her blog, and I laughed and laughed when I was reading it, and so then immediately I signed up for her newsletter, and I can't believe all these years that I haven't signed up for her newsletter. So I'm really excited, and we'll talk a little more about Mary Corbett, but she's super talented in all areas of hand embroidery.
So Sally has her this week's sew, which is a Liberty of London, it's a round yoke dress. What is it called?
Vintage. It's a little vintage pattern.
It has these cute little bloomers.
Yeah, the bloomers. They're cute. Yep. So I got it to the hanging stage this morning.
In our news today, we have a discounted pattern. So this is Abigail. I'm going to have to swallow my gum. I can't talk with it in my mouth. Okay.
Spit your gum on, baby.
So Abigail is by Bonnie Blue Designs. This is a jumper collection. So it gives you a button front, like a double-breasted kind of look, button front, offset side seam, and then they are front opening seam. A shoulder button view. Originally, our Bonnie Blue Design patterns sell for $14, and this is discounted while supplies last to $9. We have it in two size ranges. The small starts at 6 months, and it goes through 3 years, and the large is
size 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 years.
So
very, very versatile and perfect for back to school.
It's perfect for back to school. Perfect for the season. We love to sew on Bonnie Blue Designs. We often have a garment up here from this pattern
In
designer.
fact, we have a whole bunch of kits from a pattern from one of Bonnie Blue Designs that we're showing today.
So originally $14 while supplies last, and great for back to school. It's $9, and that's Abigail by Bonnie Blue Designs.
If you've never sewn on any Bonnie Blue patterns, you really ought to go through the list, because she has like toddler patterns up to mostly size 8, I think. And I'm going to show you what her pattern. They come on a thicker white paper, and then what I do is I use our tracing paper, our Ace the Trace, and I trace over the size that I need. And so there isn't any, you don't have to print it out, but you do need to trace it over. So here you've got all these sizes, and then and the front and the back of this page are printed. So then you would trace this over. She has a lot of darling patterns. They
usually cover a wide size range with a lot of variations. So it's a lot of bang for your buck.
We use the Kimberly pattern all the time, and the Anna Catherine. Those are two. Well, those are our go-to patterns.
Laurel we use a lot. Lizzie.
Yes,
there's a lot that we pull from. Charlotte.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so in the Bonnie Blue Design world, speaking of our sewing kits, we have a large assortment of sewing kits on the Anna Catherine pattern. So this is an A-line pattern. You can see it has a lot of different variations for you. Let's show it up close. And we offer many different looks. So our sewing kits are all the parts and pieces to create the look. And in it, you will find a certain size range for the pattern itself. We thought this would be a cute little, you could totally do really a spring, but even back to school look on this. So what I'm getting at is, with our sewing kits, we like to create a lot of different variations. It's probably because they're our favorite and we keep going back to it. But like with the Anna Catherine, you could use sewing kit ideas for inspirations, or to see what fabrics or trims coordinate with each other. Or if you wanted to recreate exactly what we've designed, we have a kit for that. So here I've pulled out a sampling of different Anna Catherine kits. it's called First Day. So this could be a little back to school, or it could be a Christmas option for you too. This is by Abby Wilkinson of DressThemDearly.com. And you can see her little girl is wearing this little dress.
It's really sweet because she used, this is a dark green piqué, and then a plaid for the collar and a little applique on the dress. It's really cute.
You know how you see pictures of your babies, and it might only be from a couple years ago, but they look like tiny babies compared to how they've matured. And so now I see her little baby face, Maria, and I'm like, she looks so young.
Well, how about if you got our newsletter today? The very first picture is Kristen's second daughter, Andy.
Oh, yeah. She looks like a toddler.
I thought she looked so little. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. That was really sweet.
Because I'm doing social media stuff for Farmhouse on my phone, sometimes iPhones will create a reel for you. You know, it's just a little video playing through your photos. And I have pictures of Abby's children that pop up in there. Sarah Ward's. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious.
And they've really grown up.
Well, they have, but it's also weird. I'm like, oh geez. Here's somebody else's child on my phone. So other inspirations on Anna Catherine. Here's a sleeveless option with this round collar.
That's what I love. There are so many collar options on here. Here's an offset collar.
I love the offset.
That's really neat too. And then a Peter Pan collar, and then the round collar.
Well, and also it has this like small short yoke line that you can sew the...
Well, yeah, and I don't think it's really a yoke. I think it's just a top stitch on where it creates the look of a yoke.
But I believe we looked it up, and it actually has that line.
Oh, so that
you know where to sew it on.
Yes, yes, that's right.
So we have an heirloom version where it actually has a lace fancy band at the hem, and then also a lace-to-lace trimming on the sleeve. So you can also style your heirloom patterns with the Anna Catherine pattern. Here is like a fall look. We have a coordinating brother outfit for this using the Will by Colors, etc. But it's just cute. All these different looks can be created with Anna Catherine. And we also like to provide different looks based off of one pattern, because
you might have the pattern and you don't have to buy another pattern. So,
or you might have an A-line that could work with these kits as well. So another...
Stephanie says she loves our coordinates, and Jeanette says, I do like your sewing kits and ideas.
Awesome. Thank you. Another pattern Sally mentioned that we love to sew on is Kimberly by Bonnie Blue Designs. And we have six kits currently available using this pattern. So, yeah, just a Bonnie Blue Designs overview here.
Yeah, that's right.
Get it out of your way.
Okay.
So tell us about this Royal Twill here.
All right, this is a new fabric to us, and this, for some reason they call this style Royal Twill, and it has more of a pronounced twill weave, but this, it almost has a brushed feel to it. It feels so good.
I know we've called things in the past royal, and so I was Googling that this morning to figure out. There's something actually, I'm pretty sure it was the word cavalier, like a cavalier twill and a royal twill, and then it had like your simple twill. But they were saying it has that smoother finish, which is what this has.
It does, doesn't it? It feels really good.
And typically it's a tighter twill weave.
Well, this is definitely, we get twills that are, like, I want to say maybe you make shorts or pants or a little jacket or something like that. To me, this is dressier looking. Don't you think this has a dressier look to it? But I held it up and I thought this, way back in the day, we had patterns. I think Cherry Williams had a pattern that she called the coat dress, and it was so pretty. And it buttoned down the front. It was gathered. Had a Peter Pan collar, I think long sleeves, and it just had a
it makes me think of Cindy Foose when you say coat dress, because she had a coat dress class.
That's right. And I could see this in a coat dress, because this could be worn in the wintertime even, or in the early spring when it's still cool. But
it's not heavy. I mean, it's a lightweight.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's not as heavy as corduroy,
right?
But it has a little more of a weight to it than like a broadcloth, right? Is it because of the texture? I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, I love the way it looks. I think it's dressy and beautiful, and so I thought, well, I wonder how it would look like a smocked dress or a smocked jacket or a smocked little baby coat or something.
It has a sheen finish to it. Like the diagonal, what is pronounced in this twill weave, it's almost like a white silvery look. And so that satin finish really shows for a sheen overall look
Kristen,
in the
I'm
fabric.
thinking that there's actually cross woven with white in there. Do you see that?
Oh, it is chambray.
Doesn't it look
It
like
does look like that.
The diagonals are white and pink, white and pink, white and
Right.
pink?
Yeah. It's interesting. We're
I'm
learning
learning
something about it, y'all.
Anyway, this is a beautiful, beautiful fabric, and so we ask Ariel, who does wonderful pleating for us, we ask her to pleat, just pleat up a strip and see how it would pleat. And so she pleated like 2 strips, and then I said, hey, what if you put a baby interfacing on the back? Would that change anything? And so Kristen said she prefers the strips.
I think you might show them.
Okay.
Paula's asking, do you think it's too heavy for smocking?
No, I don't think it's too heavy for smocking. No. I think it would smock beautifully, and I bet you could picture smock on it beautifully. So, is this the one with baby interfacing? This has, it is, isn't it?
I
Isn't
know,
that terrible?
it is.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So this piece has baby interfacing on the back, and this piece is without baby interfacing.
So this makes me think of Gail Doan. Like I immediately
Yes.
go to
And
Gail
you pulled
Doan.
out Gail's book.
I did. So Smocking 101 is a class offered at gaildone.com, and she tells you and lays out different ways that she's gone about pleating, let's say Dupioni, for instance, and how when you're pleating Dupioni, if you run it cross-grained through your pleater, it actually pleats up nicer, or
Right.
more appealing pleats. But then she goes through all different kinds of techniques. It's jam-packed. It's one of the first classes that we started talking about Gail. I mean, we've talked about Gail with classes for forever because we've had her here. But this particular one is highlighting smocking, and it is
Right.
so much information. She talks about using interfacing on the backs of fabrics and when she suggests that. So yeah, it's cool to see that it does change it, even with something that's
it does.
heavier.
It really doesn't. I mean, I think it's gonna smock pretty much the same, but I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see how it smocks. These are. I think you can sort of see the twill weave in here actually creates little bubbles, but this is not like uneven at all. But then fewer little bubbles in the one with the interfacing on the back, wouldn't you say?
But I think it makes the twill line or the twill weave more prominent.
Oh, that's what you were saying. I can see that. I can see that on there.
It smocks more evenly,
Is
I
it
guess.
more?
or
It's more
pleats,
pink this way, maybe.
Yeah.
More pink this way and more white.
More
this
white
way.
that way.
Anyway,
Paula's got well, there's 2 different Paulas.
okay.
One Paula says, does the twill come in darker colors?
At this time, we only have it in this pink.
And the other Paula asks, do you pleat the interfacing?
Well, you actually put the interfacing on. You adhere the interfacing to the back of your strip.
Fabric
The
prior
fabric
to running it through.
prior to running it through. Yes.
So they
Yes.
become one fabric before
Yeah.
you run it through your pleater.
That's right. That's right. Now, one thing that we wanted to mention, because we just got this in and we're talking about it here, and we thought we would offer a little coupon code for this. And so you have to be logged into our website to use it, but through Sunday we have 25% off. I'm reading my cheat sheet back here. We have a 25% off on this pink twill. The coupon code is
Gavin Gush with Farmhouse Fabric, Sally and Crystin Twill Fabric. Wouldn't that be terrible? What is it? It's GG Twill.
GG Twill. G and G Twill.
Yeah.
And then Emma will put a link to this.
So
twill
originally
on
it's $16.98. It's called Royal for a reason because it is high quality and it's fabulous. But with the 25% off discount through Sunday, you're actually going to get it at $12.73 a yard.
Yep.
So it's 60 inches wide. It really looks like 60 plus.
I know, I love it.
It's different. There's things that come through and it's a twill and it's a twill and this is Royal Twill and it's fabulous.
It's pretty.
Yeah. So
It's pretty. And if you don't know anything about smocking, this is the place to learn. GailDoan.com.
Yeah, it's an excellent class.
Yeah.
So something neither here nor there is this wool felting kit. We ran across these the other day because you wouldn't imagine what we can run across here at Farmhouse. This is a fabulous kit, and it has everything that you need to create this design. If you've ever thought about wool felting and you want just an all-for-one, this might be for you. It comes with this printed canvas. It looks like an interfaced. I don't know anything about wool felting, so forgive me. This can help you and me learn. But it has 2 pieces of fabric. This one's printed, so you're going to follow this printed design when creating your wool felted pieces. It has the hoop, and it's actually a very beautiful wooden hoop. It has your different needles and then the colors that are necessary for. So this is roving, right? So wool roving in colors to create the design. So originally, can you help me out, Emma?
I think it's originally $38.
Originally it's $38 for this kit, but we have it on sale for $10. So I believe there's only a few remaining, but this is a very nice kit.
Gina says it's a great practice kit.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Good.
That's cool.
It's cute.
Oh, yeah, Regina's done some super cute little...
oh, yeah, she has. And we have a lot of other wool felting products. We carry wool roving in a lot of colors. And
assorted colors, actually.
Yeah,
pre-assorted.
Yeah, that's right. Really pretty. And also the felting needles. We keep those in stock, too. So this is a way to try it out.
So oftentimes we get asked what is a fabric bundle, or what does a fabric bundle mean? So we have pulled out a sampling. We have a wall of bins that are our fabric bundles. So when you see the SKU FB24, it's fabric bundle, the 24th of our fabric bundle bins, and each bin is full with a bundle.
So we start up here. We have to get a ladder to get to the top shelf.
I don't need a ladder.
Oh, no. I have to get a ladder to get to the top shelf. If I pull it down, I'm knock myself out. So.
They're actually very heavy. So typically our bundles are 2 yards of continuous pre-cut pieces. So 2 yard pieces that are continuous length. We do have other things that live in fabric bundles, and they might be a lesser yardage, but we will let you know if that's the case, or it might be a panel fabric that we've pre-cut to figure out how many we have. You can find almost any type of fabric. Eventually it will make its way to a fabric bundle. I love this one in particular.
I know. This is
a corduroy. It's a cranberry corduroy. And Story of Grace, you can find her on Instagram. She created a darling dress for her little girl. She just used the, the all over one color to create the look. I'll show this one up here. If you go to her page, you can see this pretty little dress and her darling little girl.
Oh, her little girl is so precious. But this is a beautiful color. It's a beautiful weight of feather whale corduroy. Really great for fall and winter. So
it's a 2 yard piece. If you need more than 2 yards, you can buy 2 of the bundles, but they all are in those 2 yard cuts.
So like this, for instance, is $20. So it's $10 a yard for the corduroy. And, we all know the corduroy has gone up.
This is 2.5 yards. It is $20 for the 2.5 yards. This is a gray or black. It's a gray striped seersucker, so that's awesome. You're actually getting it you're getting it for less than $10 a yard because it's 2.5 yards.
Well, we do get in like holiday taffeta plaids, and if they're not really large pieces, Hope will put these and she'll measure it and put it in a fabric bundle, and then you buy it by the piece. And so
this is a shimmery, it's really pretty. I'm going to show an up close of this one. So again, all of these are in our fabric bundle category, and they're all kinds of different fabrics. This is a polyester fabric, and it has this little shimmer finish. It has the 2 yard
taffeta,
cut.
so like it will
it's got some body.
Yeah, and it'll make
Some
that.
sha-sha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll make that good sound.
So then we have, this is a shirting quality, which is a fabulous quality, 100% cotton. This is a 3-yard bundle, but you're actually getting this bundle at $7 a yard.
I think they just put this one on. I think they've been.
They must have turned it off. It must have been one that was, because it's our old.
Okay. Oh, right.
We can dissect our labels,
Yeah.
y'all, because we know who created it, about when it was created. So it's kind of fun, actually,
Yeah.
if something lands in a bin and we're not sure of it. So this one is called Admirable Blue, and it is a beautiful, it's perfect for back to school. It's about a 1/16 inch. It kind of looks to be a little above,
between.
actually a little bigger than 1/16, but around 1/16 inch, and again, it's $7 a yard, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
So like I said, sometimes some random things land in our bundle bins. This is actually a 3-yard fabric bundle and a 10 yards of spaghetti bundle. And the total cost for this is $27. So originally the price is $58.50, but you're getting 10 yards of spaghetti that coordinates with the fabric, and the price is $27.
And this is the perfect colors for Halloween.
Or Christmas, depending on which direction you want to go with your this year's
Have
Christmas
orange and black
outfit.
for Christmas.
It is great for Halloween.
Anyway, and it was a fabric. It is a fabric finder's fabric.
All right, so Sally has, you had a couple interesting details on this vintage pattern for this week, didn't you? You like the underarm box pleats?
Well, yeah. This little pattern is so cute. So here I am digging back in the vintage patterns. But man, when it comes to Baby June, and then when Kristen told me she looked at the picture I sent of this and she said, "That's pretty."
She did. That was so
I
funny.
couldn't believe she said that. That's so neat.
She was sitting in my lap. She said, "That's pretty."
She's cute, you guys. Anyway, this is the style I'm making, style number 2, and it's Vintage Simplicity 3055. Original price on this pattern was 40 cents. So you can see how darling it is. Now this,
I can smell it.
what?
I can't. It's
You're
absolutely
smelling
vintage.
everything.
I am. I think my COVID nose is finally
Man,
tuckering
she
out or
told me
something.
my iron was burning
It
hot.
does
and
smell weird.
I don't smell anything on here.
No. Right? Weird.
Maybe it's that Listerine strip is so strong. I
It
can't
cleared out
smell
my
it.
nasal cavities.
Anyway, one thing I like about the vintage patterns for little girls is that they put and by the way, Jeannie Baumeister, who has the old-fashioned baby pattern line, does this on a lot of her patterns. She puts a little pleat under the arm, and so it gives just a little bit more movement, even though this has fullness. But
It's just like, have you seen the back pleats in a blouse?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of
that's
like,
right.
it's
That's
just
right.
like that. It gives you just a little bit
But I
more.
think that's really sweet. And so this is
So Sally cares nothing about the functionality of it. It's just that it adds a cute touch to the pattern.
It was old fashioned to me, and I love that. So this is Elizabeth, Liberty of London, Elizabeth, my favorite of all time. And so it's got all these pretty roses. Oh shoot! I forgot to bring the rose lace down here. I'm going.
And I knew that. I thought about that.
Man.
So we have done a poll in our stories, and we are asking what kind of bloomers do we need to create for this, because it has this adorable ruffle bottom bloomers, and they actually ruffle all the way around and kind of like finish right here at your what do you call that? Your groin line, maybe? Like,
Well, the front panel is more narrow. It doesn't come to the
Side
side
seams.
seams, and so that shows those cute little ruffles. you
even
know,
in
when
the
it
front
comes-
a little.
Yeah, and
It's
so I'm
cute.
looking at it thinking, do I want to do all those ruffles? But they're really
yeah.
sweet.
So our poll is asking, do you think that we need to use this Liberty of London for the ruffle, or excuse me, for the bloomers, or should we go, we did a Sally selected all these gorgeous components. She did a contrasting collar, and it's an eyelet fabric.
Yeah,
Elizabeth said it's to the hip bones, and Jeanette
Hip bones.
says it's 3/4 ruffle bloomers.
Oh, there you
I like
go.
it.
That's
Thanks,
it.
y'all.
3/4 ruffle bloomers. They're so cute.
They are
They're
so
really
cute.
cute.
So Sally, remember? I don't know if y'all remember. It was sometime this year. It was one of the weekly sews, and you
one
created.
of the first one. I think it was the first one I did.
It was a vintage bottom, vintage bloomer pattern, and
were
they looked
laughing about it.
massive. Like
But she looks so cute in them.
she's walking around my yard
I
and
know.
just her little bloomers, and it is so cute.
They're cute. Well, this pocket is really interesting, and I do have my little, unless they came out, my little tailor tacks.
right there.
Yeah, here's a tailor tack. I have in my tailor tacks to mark where the pocket goes.
Oh, I
But-
love the pocket. I didn't know it had a pocket.
Yeah, it has
I
the
love
pocket.
that.
And so the way they make it, this is interesting. They here from this tailor tack to this tailor tack, we can go overhead. So from this tailor tack to this tailor tack, this is the bottom of the pocket. That
Let's just do this if you don't mind. There we go.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So this, you gather that up between all of these. So say I'm gathering it. And okay, this is going to face me. So the first thing you do, this is really different, as you sew it on upside down between the gathers.
Ooh, I like that.
And then you bring it up here, and these little edges turn under, and then you gather this to make it a little poofy pocket.
Oh, that's cute.
It's cute, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, I love it with the pocket.
Yeah.
Get more votes for the Liberty for the bloomers.
Oh, more for the Liberty?
But someone said do Liberty bloomers, but eyelet ruffles.
I read that.
I like
and
that
somebody else
idea.
voted that. That
I
was
like that
I love
idea.
that.
But
Yeah.
see, if this is then gathered across the top.
Sally doesn't like the idea of gathering eyelet. She'd much rather gather this Liberty. As I know what she's thinking.
I'm thinking
This is going to be a lot
pain.
harder. And you're going to break threads on that.
And so I did cut out a lining for the pocket as well. Like would it be easier if I lined it and then did it? I don't know. But when I read it and it said from this dot to this dot you gather and you sew it on upside down and flip it up, I'm like, I can see how that could be pretty.
We'll get more eyelet votes now since you showed it up close.
It's
Oh.
cute with that contrast. It is.
I struggled with it because I felt like maybe the design was a little too big for this, but once I
think
put
it
it together,
works.
I think it's fine. And then if we do, the pocket adds to it a lot, don't you think?
Do y'all fuss over that? Like whenever you have exactly like this. So you
Yeah.
have a contrasted collar and you're wanting to also use an eyelet or some kind of embroidered something. Do you try to match that with the size of the print you're using? Because I feel like a lot of times if I'm coordinating, I will. But it looks great.
But I did carry it all around here and held it up to certain things. And this is just a little bit lighter than the background on here, but I think it works. I'm not opposed to
Me
it.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you get her little bloomers under there, she's going to be cute.
She's gonna be sassy.
She's going to be cute.
Is this an offset little button?
Well,
I
the
like
way
that.
it is, it actually comes out here farther,
Uh-huh.
and it loops around.
Oh,
You see
that's
how it loops
cute.
around?
Yeah.
So this
So it's
is-
really
yeah,
probably
this-
regularly
mhm,
aligned.
Yeah.
Me and Diane have the same idea. She says eyelet, you can use the bloomers with other dresses. That's
I
what I
know.
was thinking.
I'm thinking that I might end up making 2 pair because I think they're cute. They look
Yeah.
like they're cute. And what?
Jenny Wren's Threadness on Instagram said, I've gathered ruffles with my ruffler foot, just double the length you need.
Oh, right.
sounds easy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The other thing I do, because I haven't, believe it or not, ever used my ruffler foot.
Do you own it? Do you own one?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah. And every old machine, like my mom's old Singer and all that, they all had all those amazing feet. But anyway, what I do, and we could overhead this. When I'm sewing, if I have a strip, or let's say I folded it over and I have a folded over strip of fabric, I might just sew over it, push it up, sew over it, push it up, sew over it, and it looks like little tiny pleats. And so I don't ruffle it at all. I just like push it in, sew
I've
over
seen
it,
you
push
do
it in,
that.
sew over
I
it.
feel like you do that for
If I'm in a
A
big
lot,
hurry
yeah,
and it really and I can cut it off where I need to, I can make a really long piece
yeah,
and just push
That's
it
a
in,
good
sew
cheat.
over it.
I like it.
Yeah, push it in, sew over it.
especially like with a very thin like this one.
Yeah, no,
It's-
that
you're
would
not even
work.
gonna see it.
That would work easily.
Mhm.
I did use German interfacing on the back of the facing, and the German interfacing strip, and it was a little wide for my facing, so the little piece, the little piece that I cut off, I can't throw anything away. I use that to stabilize the diagonal armhole
Armpit,
or not the armhole. I use it to go down the back of the dress I'm making for Madeline.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So, we have up here some knitted elastic, and it is a super deal. We have it in a black and white colorway, and this is 20 cents a yard. You do have to buy the whole roll of the elastic, which is 144 yards. Do you know the total price? Oh, it's $28.80. But what is so cool about a knitted elastic is I'm gonna.
You can, no, you
I
can
can
pull
feel her.
Pull a piece. No. I was gonna help you.
So what's so cool is that you can sew over it stretched out.
Yeah, you can
Can cut
through
it. Yeah. So what do you use this for?
Well, Kristen was saying she has a blouse that the elastic is just sewn right on, and it creates a little ruffle right
Like
here.
on the underneath
Yeah,
of the arm.
yeah.
It's just sewn
And I
straight to
said,
it.
I'll
There's no
bet that
casing.
was, a knitted elastic. So a knitted elastic, you can actually sew through your elastic and it recovers back to where it needs to be. And so this is like the baby size. It's 1/8 inch. And I was going to bring you a great big piece, but we can on the overhead and get close maybe. You can see that it actually has holes. Will it show?
You're gonna have to be like right here. Yep.
Okay. It actually has holes in it. It's not braided. There you go. You can see it now in the overhead. And if you sew through that while you're stretching it, it pops right back into place. And so like you could do it on the bottom of a little baby sleeve or something. And I don't know.
And it's very soft. It's
Yeah, it
softer
is
than
really soft. Yeah.
I mean,
Alright, we got a question.
Okay.
Could you use the knitted elastic instead of doing shearing on a shirt with elastic thread?
Well, probably. But
might
I
be
don't
too
know
clunky.
if you'd have to practice with maybe a short piece. And
Because you're going to have lots of layers of elastic. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to really add a lot of weight to, like, if you did it across a bodice or
Yeah.
something.
But anyway, when I came across this good deal, I got it because 20 cents a yard for elastic is awesome.
So $28.80, and you'll never have to buy elastic again. You'll find ways to use this 144
You
yards.
can wrap your Christmas presents.
Yeah,
in.
really.
Oh my goodness.
So, tell us about Mary Corbett.
Okay, I wish I had pictures. Maybe there are some in here.
So
Let's
Mary
see.
is a handwork expert.
Yeah.
We have gotten to know her through Farmhouse Fabrics, but today Sally was looking for information on.
Well, I was thinking about, I don't know what crossed my head because we're talking about licking our needles and licking our thread and all of that. Well, a question, I think one time I took a class, or several times if I took a class, they would have said, you know, you always knot the thread from this end, and that thread has a nap to it, or a grain line. And I thought, you know, I can never remember which end you're supposed to knot to keep it from tangling. I'm like,
You probably really think about it when it's like something that really matters, and then you're like, oh, I probably should do this the right direction.
yeah, that's right. Well, the one thing somebody said is, and this helps me remember now because at least from this morning until this afternoon, that if you have your spool of thread on the top of your sewing machine, and your thread comes down through the sewing machine and through the needle, then the end that you knot is what's on
closest to the spool.
Yeah, because you're putting the other one through the needle. So then you knot the other end, and I'm like, I think I can remember that. But anyway, I thought I'm gonna look it up, and so I Googled it. And up came needle and thread. It's needle and the letter N, thread. And it's Mary Corbett. And Mary Corbett is very, very well known for her classes on embroidery. She has fabulous embroidery kits. She does gold work. She does all kinds of things.
Sally signed up for her newsletter today, and it's
Yeah.
definitely our recommendation to you.
Yes.
She does a daily newsletter, and the several that we've read have been fabulous information.
I mean, look at the...
But we really enjoyed this discussion that she was having
She's
about
funny. She's
thread
so
grain.
funny. And she's like, you know what?
So this is a master of her
Yes. She says, guess what? She says it doesn't really matter.
we
She-
liked when somebody says
it
that to
doesn't
us.
really matter. And but she talked about being in classes and watching new people trying to learn, and they're trying to find the grain of the thread. And she said sometimes you can feel it if your fingers are sensitive enough, but other times
They recommend running it across their lip.
running it across your upper lip. So it's like she said the whole class is sitting there going like this, trying to.
And you can see people dropping like flies.
Yeah, that's what
like,
she said. They're like,
so terrible.
and like, which way? This way or this way? This way or this way? Maybe I'm feeling my whiskers.
Yeah, right?
But anyway, the bottom line is not life and death, and it really doesn't matter. And if you embroider beautifully, it doesn't matter which end your thread is knotted, you're going to embroider beautifully. And if you're a terrible embroiderer, it doesn't matter which end you knot, you're probably still going to look rough.
One thing I did think was really neat because she was talking about how much you've used your thread. So if you are going along and you are stitching something, and when you change out to a new thread, it actually looks different. She describes that as you actually have worn your thread. Mm-hmm. So does she recommend that you change it out more often, or just...
Well,
she's just saying that that's a real thing.
That's a real thing, and also the eye of your needle could be maybe a little too small for your thread, and make your thread
tugging it.
tugging it. Yeah. And so there's definitely a debate out there, and probably a lot of you feel one way or another. But I'm just gonna go right along with Mary Corbett and chuckle and say, man, which way is it? Sometimes when I'm doing handwork like hemming or even going around, I hand stitch this yoke, the lining of the yoke, and I thought sometimes it tangles a little more, and sometimes I've undone my thread and actually knotted the other end to see if that works better. And actually a shorter thread tangles less, but sometimes I think I can get the whole thing. Yeah, that's exactly. And then there it is tangling, and I'm picking out my knots, that kind of thing. But anyway, I just printed up this. She has tips and techniques, page after page, a list of all kinds of hand embroidery tutorials, tips and techniques, including beginner tips for embroidery, tips on transferring embroidery patterns and designs, working with specific embroidery threads, tips on gold work, on silk shading, on individual embroidery stitches.
I think we could talk about her all day. Just from the few that we've read, it's been valuable information.
Yeah. So if you're an embroiderer at any level, you will enjoy Mary Corbett needle and thread. And if you already,
that's .com.
Yeah,
so that actually is her blog.
And so she has I guess she has a blog, she has a website. She does have some products, some kits, needlework kits and that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun, and she's really, really fun to read. Yeah.
So let's see. We are sewing up the Vintage Vogue by Lady Marlowe. She has reprinted. You can find her on Etsy. It is Vogue 6771, and it is a beach cover-up. So Sally is using a Shelly fabric, which it has Shelly's have a beautiful drape. They have a little bit looser of a weave, and because of that, when you sew on the bias, oftentimes it misshapes it because it has that give to it. So Sally, you're really diving into what you can do to make bias sewing easier.
Well, because we showed you a little lace dress that we cut out, and actually I was thinking of a granddaughter that said I want something in teal, and so I made the lace. I'm like, this is not teal, and plus I think it's too long, so it looks like it's going to fit one of Kristen's girls and look beautiful on her. So then I came across this other Shelly fabric, and this morning I cut this out, and it does have a lot of drape, and I'm like, she's gonna like this color, I think.
It feels really nice.
So this pattern, well, I was reading about tips for sewing on Shelly fabrics. Now, one tip they tell you is buy more fabric than you need and pre-shrink it. And of course, I didn't do that, but
because Shelly has a looser weave, it does shrink.
And rayon, if it's rayon, it's gonna shrink up a little bit unless you hang it to dry, and then it might not be a problem. But the other thing they said, which I didn't do on the Faces dress.
Not only are we sewing on Shelly, this also is a bias cut dress. So it has like that double effect of it's going to reshape itself
Yeah.
some.
It's not completely biased, but it is really angled, and even the armhole is angled, where it goes up to the neck. And so a tip that they gave, and I did that on this, and I can see it's going to be.
And she thinks,
really,
where's this been the last
Yeah,
70
should have
years of
been
my
doing-
life?
Should have been doing this. They and the thing I was reading, I googled the information. There's 16 tips for sewing on Shelly, and this one they suggest sewing, doing a stay stitch on your angled seam allowances, on your angled edges, and just inside the seam allowance. And so because this is so angled, you can pull out that other side, Kristen, and you can see this is very, very angled
full.
this way. And the thing to do when you're sewing a stay stitch is actually sew single layer and start at the wide end and sew to the narrow end. Otherwise you can stretch it out even more. So you don't want to do that, and then very carefully, I mean, don't pull it while you're sewing, just let it go through the under the presser foot, and it puts a stay stitch and it holds it in place. And so then I decided I would do it on the armholes as well, and you can see here I went inside the seam allowance line, and I just did a simple, let's see, where are we? I can't see where I am here.
Yep.
I did just a simple stay stitch on here, and that holds it in place and doesn't allow that bias angle to stretch out more. So I think that is a good idea. Now the other suggestion they had is if you have a fabric like this, and this could ravel, it could be a lot of raveling, especially if you're pre-washing it, pre-shrinking it, is to take
Was that prior to washing?
Yeah, prior
I
to
didn't
washing.
realize
Prior to
that.
washing. Prior to washing, you would take your fabric.
Is it run it through the serger?
Yeah, they said to make sure your ends are straight, and you can do that by, you can rip it actually. And well, I can rip this because I've cut from here, and I'll show you. So this is going to rip on the straight of the grain.
Because of the fabric content. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it being a Shelly.
Yeah, that's right. And so, let's say I had 3 yards. Well, they suggested serging these two ends together. Like this, I guess. I'm thinking like this. But I would either maybe just serge around this end and around the other end, and then put it in the washer. If you're going to dry it, put it in the dryer. But that will keep it from raveling and getting all a tangled mess.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And so, otherwise, how would you? I mean, you wouldn't put that end with that end.
No.
You could put these together and serge it, and then you cut the serging apart. But honestly, you could just go across an end and then wash it, and it just keeps it from being a big mess when you pull it out.
Elizabeth Layton is loving the fabric, and she says, "Vintage, you are speaking my language. I'm starting a vintage wardrobe."
Oh, fun.
Isn't this cute with these little flowers on here? I guess they're like, this is $9.98. Yep. So.
Okay, so there's a few sewing with Sally tips.
Oh, yeah, these, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got kind
I'm
of
with ya.
lost. I got kind of lost. Okay, the other thing, Microtex needles in a thin Microtex needle, lightweight, either 70-10 or 68. But I probably use a size 10, 70-10. And I actually did change my needle before I started sewing on this, because when I was sewing on I actually changed it before I sewed it, when I started sewing on the lawn. I heard it like thunk, 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 and it's like, okay,
Gotta get a
you
smaller
know,
needle.
I do push my needles too far. I know I do, but some people change their needle with every outfit, and I don't do that, but I should change mine more often.
If you're tuned in here, you probably know about our weekly giveaways. So we're actually doing bi-weekly giveaways right now. So twice a week you can win. You have the chance to win. We have a wonderful selection here. And Sally and Emma so rudely asked y'all Y'all might as well just put how much you
know
weighed.
what? Is that it?
Is
The
this
selection
it?
is down. That was last.
Oh,
Tuesday.
because Kelly wasn't here to ship
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so here it is.
We asked you a sewing question.
Sewing.
No,
Yeah.
it was get to know your customer.
Somebody commented that
Right.
they always heard that you're not supposed to ask a lady what her weight was, and I said that's how all the big ladies in my family said.
Well,
Don't ask me how much I weigh.
well, somebody said I don't tell anybody my weight or my age, but we didn't ask your weight. We just said, is your weight the same in real life on your scale as it is on your driver's license? And mine isn't. But some people are really good people, and they said, I don't lie, mine is the same. I'm like, well, maybe I just didn't change mine since 1960.
Actually, my favorite was they said, well, whenever I said it, it was the right weight.
Yeah, that's
You know?
right. That's
that
right.
was cute.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank y'all for playing along. Thank y'all for joining our giveaways. Today we are going to draw. Where's your bucket? Is it right in front of you?
Yep.
I'll grab it. All right, Sally, let's see who wins.
Okay, this is a big old wild assortment. We'll see. This is Chantal Kinsman. My my weight on my driver's license is certainly not my real weight. I've never won. I wish I will this time. So
Congratulations.
congratulations. So thank you very much.
So, to highlight, let's leave
Oh,
this out.
okay.
So we are actually going to draw a second winner today because we can't replicate this kit. We are going to draw for our Llama Mama Let's Embroider kit.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
comes with
you draw here.
everything that you need to recreate this llama design. It has the hoop, it has your needles, your floss assorted colors,
Yeah.
directions. What is the price on our kit, Emma?
It was originally $21 and it is currently $1.
So $21. We have it on sale for $1.
It's the Dollar Baby
It's-
special.
Exactly. So, Michelle, you want to reach over here and draw a winner?
All right.
Let's do super surprise all around.
All right, Lorraine Bradley.
Lorraine Bradley. All right. She said we don't have to put our weight on our driver's license. So that's nice.
Oh,
We have Let's Embroider coming to you. So thank y'all so much for entering our giveaways. We have a very special guest coming on Tuesday.
Ooh, yes.
This is Ann Peebles will be here to talk about a needle thread work lace that she works. I'm waiting for Sally
I'm
to
not-
chime in with the name.
I'm wanting you to say
Carrot
it too.
McKay.
No, Karen McCross.
Carrot McCross. Y'all. It's getting
Anna's gonna have to
shameless up
teach us.
here. We are
Yeah.
about to learn. It's a gorgeous technique. Don't let what we're doing throw y'all
That's
because
right.
she is a very talented, skilled lady,
Mm-hmm.
and we cannot wait to host Ann Peebles on Tuesday. And so y'all come
And
learn.
Ann is a South Carolina girl.
That's right.
Yeah.
Y'all come learn with us
Mhm.
this technique and how you might be able to adapt it into your sewing.
It should be Tuesday at noon.
Tuesday at noon.
Mhm.
I've got one more comment I have
Yeah,
to read to y'all.
what?
Elizabeth Layton said, my DMV has a sign that says, my goal is to weigh what is on my license.
That's cute.
Then they know, don't they?
Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all Tuesday with Ann Peebles. Carrot McCross.